The flight attendant didn't whisper. She laughed. Loudly, publicly, cruelly. She held the black woman's boarding pass like a prop in a comedy show and mocked her in front of the entire cabin, calling her just another confused economy passenger. The crowd smirked. Phones rose. A man in row 6 started recording like he'd found the day's entertainment. But the woman they ridiculed didn't break. Her eyes stayed fixed ahead, calm, focused, almost unnervingly steady. Because while they were busy humiliating her, she was quietly noticing something they were too arrogant to see. The captain's unsteady steps, the shakiness in the attendant's voice, the subtle flicker in the lights. Signs, warnings, the kind that mean a disaster is already unfolding, and she might be the only person on this aircraft who knows how to stop it. Ariana Cole stepped into the narrow aisle with the quiet focus of someone who had flown more miles than any person on that plane could imagine. She placed her bag overhead, slipped into her business class seat, and began scanning the cabin the way trained pilots do, observing details other passengers never notice. But she didn't even buckle her seatbelt before trouble erupted 3 rows down. "Excuse me," Flight attendant Lauren Pike called out loudly. "You're in the wrong section." A few heads turned. Ariana lifted her boarding pass calmly. "Seat 3A." Lauren snatched it, held it up like a suspicious document, and smirked. "This is business class. Maybe you misread something." Ariana's expression didn't change. "It's correct." Lauren tossed the pass back with a little too much force, ensuring surrounding passengers saw her annoyance. "We've had people try to sneak up here before. I'll be keeping an eye on you." A man across the aisle, Kevin Hurley, chuckled as he pulled out his phone. "This is going online," he whispered to no one in particular. "First-class wannabe caught lying." Ariana heard him. Everyone did. She remained still, though her eyes drifted toward the cockpit door, open an inch longer than protocol allowed. 10 minutes later, Lauren's hostility escalated. "No pre-departure drink for her," she announced to the other attendant. "We serve paying passengers first." Ariana didn't argue. She was watching the captain instead. Captain Reed, whose hand trembled slightly as he walked to the lavatory. His steps were unstable, his posture tense. Ariana's instincts sharpened. Moments later, as the plane lifted off, Kevin craned his phone toward her again. "Smile," he mocked. "Show the camera how you got caught trying to sit with the elite." Ariana turned her head and spoke so quietly he leaned in. "You should save your battery." "For what?" he scoffed. "Your meltdown?" "For something you're not ready for," she replied. Kevin rolled his eyes and resumed filming. The flight reached cruising altitude. The cabin lights dimmed. Meal service began. Ariana noticed Lauren delivering trays with noticeable shakiness in her hands. Captain Reed returned from the lavatory, face pale and unfocused. First Officer Lynn didn't look much better. Sluggish movements, delayed reactions. The announcements were off too. A slight slur. Mispronounced instructions. Poor coordination between cockpit and cabin. Ariana's pulse tightened, not out of fear, but calculation. When Lauren stumbled and nearly dropped a tray, she glared at Ariana as if she were responsible. "Are you recording me?" she snapped. "No," Ariana replied. "Are you feeling all right?" Lauren scoffed. "Worry about yourself." But Ariana knew the symptoms. She'd seen it during military operations. Rapid onset disorientation, nausea, loss of motor control, food contamination. She stood. Lauren rushed over. "Sit down. You do not have permission to be up." Ariana ignored her and moved toward the front. Kevin stood too, blocking her path. "Where do you think you're going? Trying to break into the cockpit now?" Ariana met his eyes. "Move. Make me." She reached into her bag, pulled out an identification card, and held it inches from his face. His confidence collapsed instantly. The card read, Ariana Cole, Senior Test Pilot, United States Air Wing Command. Kevin stumbled aside, stuttering. Wait, you're... Sit down, Ariana commanded. She pushed forward. Lauren grabbed her arm. You cannot... Ariana turned sharply. Both pilots are impaired. I'm going to the cockpit. Lauren froze, panic replacing arrogance. How do you know? I recognize the signs, Ariana said, and I'm the only one here trained to fix it. Passengers gasped. Kevin's phone dropped to his lap. Ariana reached the cockpit door and knocked firmly. Captain Reed, this is Ariana Cole. Are you responsive? A groan came from inside. Ariana entered and found both pilots slumped, barely conscious. The plane was still stable, but not for long. Storm cells glowed on the radar, and the aircraft was drifting slightly off course. Ariana slid into the captain's seat, her hands moving with rehearsed precision. Orion Center. This is Civilian Flight 219, she radioed. Both pilots are incapacitated. I am assuming control. The response was immediate. Ariana Cole? Confirm identity. Confirmed, she replied. Initiating emergency override. Back in the cabin, passengers watched the aircraft tilt, a subtle but terrifying angle. Lauren clung to a seat, trembling. Kevin whispered, She's flying the plane, the woman I was filming. Ariana stabilized altitude, rerouted around a turbulence pocket, and began the descent sequence toward a nearby emergency runway. Her voice never shook. Her breaths never faltered. Every movement was precise and calm. Storm winds hit the fuselage, jolting the cabin. Screams erupted. A drink cart rolled violently down the aisle. Ariana fought the controls with the strength of someone who had flown through far worse. She aligned the aircraft, dropped the gear, and brought it down in a controlled slide that rattled every bone but saved every life. When the jet finally shuddered to a stop, the cabin fell into stunned silence. Lauren stepped forward, trembling with regret, whispering an apology Ariana didn't need. Ariana stood tall, reminding everyone that respect isn't earned by titles. As emergency crews arrived, she walked out unbroken, the hero they once dared to mock.